All right, good day. Hope you're well. Sumner here from Leah. Short video. We're going to talk about our market selection webinar. Before we do that, before I kind of go over what's included, what we're going to be going over here, a couple things that are important to note. Number one, for all Leah members, they're obviously granted access. For folks that are outside the Leah program, we've got 15 slots that we're going to be releasing for this call. We very well will be recording this. There might be an opportunity to get the recorded version, although there's certainly a discount for showing up in real time, and you get access to the Q&A, which I think is super valuable. Now, before we dive into the contents of what we're going to be going over, just one thing that's really important to note, right? And I think this is something that a lot of newer folks are currently struggling with. At every level in the land business, you're going to be running into different roadblocks. And what I've noticed is the roadblocks don't really deviate much, right? The 0 to $250,000, the $250,000 to $500,000, the $500,000 to $1 million, like so on and so forth. It's very, very consistent, the roadblocks that people are running into. And the good news is it's relatively straightforward to diagnose, okay? What I've seen for the folks that are trying to get to, $250,000 net, even six figures net, even 50 grand net in this business is market selection is the enemy. It's not the only enemy, but if you don't have that right and you're doing everything else, if you don't have that right and you're doing everything else right, it's like running with a parachute behind your back. Because the thing is, there's a lot of constants in this business, right? Cost of data, cost of marketing. It's not going to change. The only thing that's going to dictate our results are the markets we decide to participate in, how we price our offers, and what we do once we have a seller lead come inbound to us, right? Now, if we can get that top of funnel correct and select the right markets, we're going to have the wind kind of blowing with us, right? It's much, much easier to have access to getting phenomenal deals. Because I can tell you right now, if you go and mail Costilla County with a high level of certainty, probably within a 5 to 10% range, I can tell you exactly what you're going to make from a ROAS perspective, return on ad spend, and in terms of what kind of deals you're going to get from an ROI perspective, also just from like a gross spread perspective. Now, if we go outside of the mold, we start thinking for ourselves and we start finding markets that have metrics that make them obviously better than others, right? Everything is relative in this business, and so we do need a comparison and a standard to compare against. But once you start aggregating a list of markets and you have the right KPIs or metrics to look at, it'll be blatantly obvious what makes a good market versus a bad market. And if you can go outside of that mold, then you start opening yourself up to deals that net you 50 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand, on and on and on again. Partially that's because there's just less competition in a lot of those markets, but also because you're going a lot of these markets that kind of meet our demand characteristics. They have higher priced inventory in them because there's just more demand, right? That's a pretty basic principle. So you should open yourself up to deals that have bigger gross profit spreads, and in some cases, just bigger ROI in general. That's amazing, but the real kicker is the turn times. You see, if you go and buy a deal in Costilla County right now, to use that example, the biggest thing that's going to be that you're going to have to battle against is not so much competition on the acquisition side, it's competition on the disposition side, because there's so much supply available and there's a finite number of buyers. There's just only so many people that want to own land in a market like that. And what that means is it's going to take a really long time to move that property. A very, very long time. Months and months and months and months and months. Now, if we look at what is going to drive the biggest amount of results in our business, what is going to compound our revenue, it's turn times of properties, right? If I can turn a deal in a month versus 3 months and we zoom out and see what the impact of that is over a 12-month period, it's freaking gargantuan. It's huge. It's a really effing big deal. And so really what we're optimizing for by going after bigger markets is, hey, faster turn times first and foremost, because there's underlying demand and in a lot of cases, bigger gross profit spreads from a dollar amount and even bigger ROI on deals because there's just less people marketing there. There's less competition. The weird part about this business is if you step outside of the mold and you go outside of where most land investors are wasting their marketing dollars, there's less competition. It's pretty incredible. So what we're going to be going over on this call, obviously how to select the most profitable markets, the metric that really no one's looking at that dictates a lot of how quickly your properties are going to move. We'll go through and pick markets together in real time. So we'll go find a state, find a county, find a submarket, and do that in real time. And I'll even give someone in the audience that market that they can go and run with. And then we'll carve out time for a Q&A. It'll probably be 60 to 90 minutes, somewhere in that range. We can go as long as we need on the Q&A front, so it could run up to 2 hours or so. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a really, really good call. We're going to make it as actionable as possible. I think one thing that's important to note while you're here, if you're looking for the silver bullet, the only answer you'll ever need to know for market selection, the one formula, it doesn't exist, right? What we're going to be covering are a multitude of different ways to execute on getting to the same outcome. Because the truth is, if anyone's telling you that there's one way, there's a silver bullet, there's the easy button, it doesn't exist. And so if you can understand that coming into this, I think you're going to have a really, really good fit for this call. If you're looking for the only thing you ever need to know about market selection, it's not this. Because there's many, many ways to get to a very similar outcome. But the core of it is most people don't even know what those avenues are. So we're going to go through a multitude of different channels you can use to find markets. Anyways, y'all, hope to see you there. 15 spots available. Make the time. It's going to be awesome. All right, take care.